It is no doubt that most people believe that playing at 60 frames per second is more advantageous than playing at 30 FPS. But is it true when we talk about triple digit numbers like 120 FPS? Does it make a world of a difference in comparison to 60 FPS? Well, first things first, in simple words, FPS is the number of frames rendered by the game in 1 second. If you are playing in 60 FPS, this means you'll see 60 different images in just 1 second. And if you are playing the game at 30 FPS, you'll see only 30 different images in 1 second. When this value is plotted over the duration of gameplay, this can reveal interesting insights into the fluidity of the game. Here's a side-by-side comparison of 20 FPS and 90 FPS in super slow motion. The 90 FPS animation looks smooth, and in 20 FPS you can notice each and individual frames, so you can feel the difference for yourself. If you slow down the footage and do a side-by-side comparison between 30 and 60 FPS, you will notice that due to the lower frames per second, which is 30 FPS in this case, the gap between the frames is much bigger, resulting in lost information between those frames. Upon calculation, the delay between 30 and 60 FPS is somewhere around 10 milliseconds. The overall difference is very small, which is in milliseconds, but as I say, every second matters. Milliseconds can change the outcome of the fights. So having higher FPS will definitely impact on your gameplay, but does it impact on the weapon performance? Well, no. While in the past we've seen this in games like PUBG Mobile, where a difference in FPS change rate of fire and recoil pattern of certain weapons, that's not the case in COD Mobile, whereas I've tested it in quite a few weapons like QQ9 and Fennec, and I found out a very interesting thing. The change in FPS requires the change in sensitivity as well. When I was testing recoil pattern for 30 FPS, I found out that I had to increase my sensitivity by 12% to control recoil the same way I used to while playing on 60 FPS. Well, it might not be the same case for you. When we sum up all the data and analysis, it's clear that higher FPS gives an unfair advantage over low FPS players. Well, in our case, we are dealing with a bigger problem where mobiles like ROG 3 having screen refresh rate of 144 Hz is giving a max FPS of 91, and on the other hand, iPads are topping somewhere around 100 to 111, that's 111 frames per second. This will not only make tracing and sniping and increase higher FPS players' accuracy, but will affect the bigger portion of the community who are still playing on somewhere around 30 to 45 frames per second. For reference, this is the graph comparison showing FPS effect kill death ratio of a player on PC and console games like PUBG and Fortnite. Better the FPS, better the player's KD. This will increase the skill and performance gap between players in coming months, and we have to wait and watch how this change and update will impact the growth and esports scene of our community. I tried my best to explain FPS difference and impact in a simple way. I can go on and on with effects like ghosting, VSync, desync, system latency, and tearing effect, but who cares? Now you can carry on making YouTube TikTok 2.0. Believe me guys, desync बढ़ने वाला है, स्किल गैप बढ़ने वाला है, कंपिटिटिव में आपको बहुत दिक्कत आने वाली है, प्लस जो वन शॉट वेपन्स लाइक ASM एंड मैन ऑफ वॉर एंड इस सीज़न पता नहीं कौन सी वेपन होगी, इसकी वजह से आप वैसे ही नहीं खेल पाओगे. तो पर्सनली आई हैव लेफ्ट COD Mobile. आई एम नॉट गोना प्ले एनी मोर रैंक, एंड इफ यू विल सी एनीवन प्लेइंग फ्रॉम द नेम RainX, it's either fake or it's some of my friends. Well, this was the video guys. Do join my Discord server and follow me on Instagram. Till then, keep learning. This was the slowest growing codm YouTuber signing off. I'll see you around.
इस वीडियो के सामने आने के बाद सवाल तो बनता ही है,
अगर हम करें तो करें क्या, बोले तो बोले क्या. वाह मोदी जी वाह वाह.